Hey YouTube, this is Jaden Storm coming from Team Shadow Strike. So in this video, I'm going to be covering my top 10 list from Pokemon from the Hoenn region. So if you've been following my channel, I've been doing the top 10 from every generation. So this is Generation 3. So in this one, I'm going to be doing the top 10 from the Hoenn region. First off, the Hoenn region, guys, is probably, if I had to pick, would be my favorite. Mainly because if you've ever read or followed how Pokemon works, after Silver and Gold, the series was supposed to end. That was supposed to be the end. But Silver and Gold sold so crazy because it was the first. It was completely different from the original, because after you completed the Johto region, you went straight into the Kanto region, which was the original region, and you re-fought the 8 gym leaders, and you gained a total of 16 badges, and then you got to fight the well-known trainer Red, which was not Ash. Can we please? People who don't understand Pokemon still do not understand that Ash and Red are two very different people. But that's why Gold and Silver sold so much, and why they were able to continue. We saw Crystal come out then, and then after Crystal, we saw, excuse me, then we saw, not too long after that, for the Game Boy Advance, when the Game Boy Advance came out, Ruby and Sapphire were released, and it introduced so many new things. Because when I did my list for Johto, it was really hard, because for the Johto region, we didn't get, 100+ new Pokemon. We got maybe 65, 70. So it was hard for me to pick my top 10, because to be real honest, there really wasn't a whole lot of Pokemon just from the Johto region that were really cool. So that 10 list was pretty easy to make. This one was extremely hard. There were a lot of cool Pokemon that came out of the Hoenn region, so it was really, really hard to come up with that top 10 list. So here's my top 10 list for my Hoenn region Pokemon. Number 10, Absol. Now, on any other list, Absol would be a lot higher, but since this is the Hoenn region, there are a lot of cooler Pokemon. Absol, he makes dark Pokemon cool, guys, because this thing, I don't know what you'd call Absol. A lion, a cat of some kind, and he's got this big crooked black horn. He is just so cool. And now with X and Y of him getting a Mega Evolution and he gets wings, he just looks even more badass. I remember using Absol from Ruby and Sapphire. Really enjoyed using him. Even though his move selection was limited and you had to teach him a lot of things to make him better, he was so good, and I loved using him. I can't wait for the Ruby and Sapphire remakes, guys. You have no frickin' idea. The fact that it doesn't come out till November and it's still August is killing me. But Absol, number 10. Fair reminder, guys, Legendaries will not be on this list at all. Legendaries will be on their own list. Number 9, Sharpedo. Sharpedo, guys, I always loved the look of sharks. Whenever I go to an aquarium, I always want to look at the sharks. I love those. The aquarium that I go to that's near here, that I've been to a couple of times, they have this thing where you walk through and you can see the sharks above you. I don't know what those are called, but they call it the shark tank. Maybe that's it, but I really enjoy that. So, and I loved Gyarados. I was just always disappointed that there wasn't a shark. And then Hoenn came along and I saw it and I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. The only thing I have to nitpick about Sharpedo is that he's like a square head of a shark, and then that's it. And, I mean, Sharpedo is still really, really cool. I just wish he was a shark. He was a full-body shark. There is some hopes of Sharpedo maybe getting a Mega Evolution. The two that I want to see get a Mega Evolution left are Sharpedo and another one on this list when I get to him. I'm hopeful Sharpedo will get one, because I really want to see Sharpedo get a Mega Evolution, because he is one of my favorite water Pokemon and one of my favorite Pokemon from the Hoenn region as well. So I think I used Sharpedo through my first playthrough. When I very first saw him, I was like, oh my god, what is this thing? It is totally awesome. Found out that it evolved from a Carvana, caught a Carvana, and just raised into a Sharpedo. I just loved the look of him. He is badass. Number 8. Treecko. Now, this is weird, because in the last list, I was really having to struggle to put some of the starters on the list, because the starters from Johto were cool. They're just there was just other Pokemon from Johto that I liked. Treecko, in my opinion, is the coolest out of his like line. People are like, well, if you like Treecko, why don't you like Sceptile? Well, I like Sceptile. I just don't like that big bushy tail they gave him. I just don't. I wish they would have done something else for his tail. Maybe kept it the same style as Grovyle, just that single leaf, but that's just me. But I still love the Treecko line. I think Sceptile is amazing. The fact that his Mega Evolution in Ruby and Sapphire, that he becomes a grass dragon Pokemon, that is downright scary. I cannot wait to come across that. So that'll definitely be fun. So number 8, Treecko. Number 7, Salamence. Now, you're probably thinking, what, Salamence? I knew Salamence was going to be on this list, Drayden, but number 7, I love Salamence. He's just not, but the first 5 on this list were already in my head. But Salamence is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time, and he is one of my favorite dragons by far. Because, see, I originally thought of doing this maybe by my top 10 for best type, but that would have took a long time. It's easier to do it by generation. But I really like Salamence, guys. He starts as a Bagon, then he becomes this weird thing called a Shelgon, or a Sheldon. Sheldon or Shelgon, I can't remember. I really wish they would have done something different for his second form. His second form looks totally lame. It's basically a ball with eyes and legs, but once you get it into level 55, you have yourself one of the best dragon Pokemon in the game. Salamence is awesome, and the fact that he is getting a Mega Evolution in Ruby and Sapphire is almost unfair. Number 6, Swampert. Swampert, by far, guys, is probably maybe my second favorite water Pokemon. Now, Swampert is so cool because he cannot be beat by an electric type. So, the fact that he just looks cool, and the first time I played through Hoenn, I didn't use Mudkip, but I really did enjoy the look of him. He was definitely because I got Ruby and Sapphire at the same time, and when I played Ruby, I took Torchic, and when I played Sapphire, I took Mudkip, and I really enjoyed Mudkip just for the simple fact that you could use him against electric Pokemon, and there was nothing they can do, because once he got to his second stage, he was a ground type as well, so electric attacks won't affect him. And he had the attack Mud Shot, which at the time, it could knock... Mud Shot was awesome back in the old days, and it still is, but I frickin' love Swampert. He is by far one of my favorite water Pokemon, and one of my favorite of all time. Swampert is by far also probably one of my favorite starting final evolutions. He's definitely my favorite of the waters that I could probably imagine, except for Greninja. Greninja is probably my favorite water evolution out of all the starters. Swampert's probably second, even over Blastoise. Swampert's Mega Evolution also looks pretty awesome. They did pretty good on all 3 of the Hoenn Mega Evolutions. That I'm very glad. So, number 6, Swampert. Number 5, Flygon. I know, guys, I like Flygon better than Salamence. I just thought Flygon looked badass. He was green, had those cool-looking red eyes. He was a dragonfly that was supersized, that just looked awesome, guys. I cannot wait for Flygon to be in Ruby and Sapphire, and I hope he gets a Mega Evolution, guys. If I had my way, I would rather have Flygon get a Mega Evolution and Salamence not get one. Because I think if you give Salamence one, you have to give Flygon one. Because Salamence, to a lot of people, and even they might be right, is better than Salamence. But, I mean, that Salamence is better than Flygon. And I think most people would agree with that. I just like Flygon better. I think if you gave it to Flygon, it makes them equal then. But in my opinion, I like Flygon better. That's just me. Me personally, you start with this funky looking thing, and then he turns into this dragonfly, and then he turns into this big dragonfly looking dragon. It was a dragon ground type. It was just cool. I enjoy Flygon, but I cannot wait. I hope he gets a Mega Evolution, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Number 4, Metagross. Steel Pokemon were cool when Johto came along, mainly because Scizor and Steelix saved it. But Steel Pokemon did not get cool until Metagross came along. Metagross, guys, a Steel Psychic Pokemon. he is inorganic living creature. He's not a male. He's not a female. He's just a big ton of metal awesomeness. As a shiny, he looks even cooler. If you haven't heard, when Ruby and Sapphire comes out, the special event Pokemon will be a shiny belt. I'm glad I already got mine, but the difference between theirs and mine is mine have 5 and 6 IVs and are very, very strong. Metagross also being one of the units. I'm playing way too much Vanguard. One of the Pokemon in Ruby and Sapphire that have confirmed Mega Evolutions. We know this is Steven's Mega Pokemon. Maybe it's not his only one, since I'm pretty sure Steven also had Salamence on his team. But it is I'm definitely glad that Metagross is getting a Mega Evolution, just because Metagross is, like I said, a big metal blob of awesomeness. So number 4, Metagross. Number 3, my favorite water Pokemon of all time. And when I say water Pokemon, I'm meaning just flat out only water type. My favorite water hybrid would be Greninja by far, but my favorite water type, period, is Milotic. I love Milotic, guys. First time I saw Milotic, I was like, I gotta have this. She is by far the most beautiful Pokemon in my opinion. It starts out as this ugly fish, and then it turns into this beautiful serpent, or Leviathan, I guess you could call it. I don't know. It was like the opposite of the Magikarp Gyarados. You have this stupid fish, and then you have this badass creature. You have this ugly little fish, then you have this beautiful creature. I love Milotic. I'm in the process of training my 6IV shiny one that I made with egg moves, including Dragon Pulse. I can't wait till I have that done. But Milotic, guys, is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time, as well as my favorite water Pokemon of all time. You know, she is just beautiful, you know. I love Milotic. I would like to see her get a Mega Evolution. I'm not going to hold my breath there, but it would be cool. Number 2, Aggron. This is another Pokemon that got a Mega Evolution in X and Y, and I couldn't have been happier. Because my favorite Steel Pokemon was either Metagross or Aggron, and I never really could determine it. Because they both were just so cool. I remember when I very first saw Aron, because I remember when I was playing Ruby through, it was either Ruby or Sapphire. I don't remember which game you can get Aron in, or if you can get them in both. I really don't remember. But I remember the first time I saw Aron. I think you can get Aron in both of them. Yes, that's right, because you get Mawile in Ruby, and then you got Sableye in Sapphire. I think that's how it was, and Aron was in both of them. But when I very first got Aron, I just looked at it and said, this is going to be awesome. Then it evolved to Larion, and I was like, wow. And then it evolved into Aggron, and I was like, wow. You know, I was just amazed with Aggron as a little kid, and I still am. Aggron is one of my favorite Pokemon. He just looks... He's like a metal dinosaur. It's hard not to like him. Aggron is badass. He is one of the best tanks in the game, in my opinion, with his high defense and HP. He is just so, so cool, and the Mega Evolution only makes him cooler. So my number 2 is Aggron. Number 1, and my favorite Pokemon from the Hoenn region is Blaziken. Blaziken. I remember when I got Ruby and Sapphire, my mom also got me the guidebook that went with it. And when I looked at all 3 of the final evolutions for the starters, I saw Blaziken, and I shut the book. I did not give it a second thought. You know, you start out as this chicken. And then then you become this chicken, bigger chicken, and then you evolve into this badass creature. You know, Blaziken, guys, is just freaking awesome. And that one episode way back where Ash's Charizard fought that Blaziken, I gotta admit, guys, I was rooting against Ash. I am sorry. That Blaziken was sweet, and ever since I saw Blaziken, he's probably my favorite fire Pokemon by far, up there with Ninetales and Arcanine. I mean, it would be hard, I guess, to come with a clear-cut favorite, but he's by far one of my favorites, and probably one of my top 10 favorite Pokemon of all time. Blaziken is just hard not to like. With his hidden ability Speed Boost, he is beyond stupid. With his Mega Evolution as well, he is beyond stupid. So I really enjoy Mega Blaziken. I'm probably going to be starting with Mudkip in or Treecko in Ruby and Sapphire, or I actually have shiny 5 IV and 6 IV starters and like 4 or 5 sets of each. So there's a good possibility also the first time I play through Ruby and Sapphire, I'm just going to pick one of them, trade it over, and then trade over a 6 IV shiny Treecko, a 6 IV shiny Mudkip, and a 6 IV Torchic, all legit with hidden abilities and egg moves, and transfer them over and just start with that. Just for the simple fact being, they're all badass. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. This has been my top 10 list for my favorite Pokemon from Generation 3, known as the Hoenn region. So I hope you enjoyed it. In the comment section below, feel free to tell me what are some of your favorite Pokemon from the Hoenn region. What is your top 10 list if you want to share it with me. If you want to ask me why a certain Pokemon was not on this list, I'd be more than happy to answer it. There were some ones that were hard to leave off. Like Zangoose. I really loved Zangoose. And so many others. I mean, the Hoenn region, guys, had so many cool Pokemon. Manatrick was also one I wanted to put on here. But, just a very, very hard region. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this list. So please tell me what you thought of it. Give this a thumbs up for me. And make sure you subscribe to my channel if you already haven't done so. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Comment, rate, subscribe, thumbs up the video for me, and I will see you later.